having more fun than a human being should be allowed to have. We have time here. Let's see. Yeah, Richard in Tampa. Glad you called, sir. Great to have you with us. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, Russ, and thank you so much for taking my call.
You bet, sir.
Listen, I hope you got room for a new Republican in the party. You think you do?
Any time you want to join us, you are more than welcome. I'll even waive the initiation fee for you.
Well, thank you much. Listen, I got a message for the Democrats. I hope you're happy because you finally, after a year, you've lost me. You know, Russ, I've been a Democrat my whole adult life. I'm 70 years old. But I'll tell you what, buddy, I just cannot.
Wait. You've been a Democrat for 50 years, and you're switching? Is that what you're saying?
I'm switching, yes, sir, for two main reasons. And I got to be honest with you, you're one of the culprits.
That would be me and this show. Those are the two reasons.
Yeah, you're one of the culprits, but in all honesty...
Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on. I thought I had one more minute than I do, so we'll finish this after the break. Do not hang up, Richard. Do not hang up, Democrat. Got to tell him twice. Back to Richard in Tampa. Happier than he has been in 50 years. He's become one of us after being a Democrat for 50 years. You're going to tell us why the switch.
Well, in all honesty, Rush, is two main reasons. I understand the dirty politics while you're, campaigning to get your party and your candidate in office. But, buddy, once it's over with and you've lost and you move on, and, these people just will not, under any circumstances, let the country move on. It's just constant lies and attacks and the dirty politics. And after a year, they've lost me. They've just flat out lost me. I'm ashamed to be a Democrat. I really am.
I'll tell you
so it just
you're right on the money. They're still trying to overturn the election. Richard, is what they're doing.
They are. But the other reason for me is, I don't know. Most people, I think, like me, maybe my age, just don't understand politics that much. But I promise you, after 3 hours a day, 5 days a week of getting a good, honest, truthful education into Washington politics from you, after a year, buddy, you've convinced me, and I am so happy that I've changed parties because I'm convinced that Trump is making headway, and my God, if they give the man half a chance, I think he's going to mature into a good president, maybe not a great president, but give him a chance, and I think he's going to, acquire the maturity that he needs to be able to do a lot for this country.
Well, welcome home. It's great. It's great that I appreciate that more than you know. I'm a little worried it took me a year, but I'll take it. I mean, I don't look gift horses in the mouth. If it took a year, it took a year. I'm glad that you gave us the year. And I can understand, trying to rewrite mental beliefs, philosophies that you've held for 50 years. Actually, erasing that and replacing them in 1 year is actually not bad. But you made my day, in all candor, so I appreciate it. Because I'm not here just, as my dad used to say, talking to hear my head rattle. I'm not just saying this to say it. I mean, I put every ounce of my being and belief into this. And to hear examples of people acknowledging that, understanding that, and being moved by it, you've made my day. I can't thank you enough, Richard. The Program Observer, the official Program Observer, has a question. What's the question? Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's the question that I'm being asked is that I observed in the first hour earlier in the program that even the Democrats can see the growing economy, the expanding investment portfolios of average Americans, primarily through their 401ks. They can see 200 companies extending wage increases and bonuses and expanded benefits. They can see this, and they know that they didn't vote for it. And your question is, how can they possibly, profit? How can they run a campaign against it? The Well, remember, I made an observation. He's asking, how can they possibly expect to run a campaign against this good economy? Remember, I made an observation that during the Obama years that for the first time in my life, a bad economy didn't seem to affect the president. Up until Obama, if the economy was great, the president got the credit. If it was bad, the president got the blame. And remember, Carville's main economic message in 1992 was it's the economy stupid, meaning everything else is extraneous. We're going to win or lose this based on our people's perception of the economy. But it didn't hurt Obama. It didn't. I still think, though, to explain that you cannot eliminate the racial component that stymied and stifled so much. You couldn't criticize the president of the United States. You couldn't criticize, and he's the president. You couldn't criticize his policies, especially if you were a Washington Republican, without being shouted down as some racist bigot. So people didn't. And it created a bunch of fear, and it just silenced people and shut them up. But this is going to be a big challenge for them. They're going to run on the idea that over half the country hates Trump like they do. That's their message. You know, I went through the story yesterday. What is the Democrat strategy? What are they building on? And they don't have anything. They don't. Right now, their message is they care more about 800,000 illegal immigrants than they do the federal government operating and running. They care more about 800,000 illegal immigrants than they do about your kids. They care more about 800,000 illegal immigrants than the U.S. military. But they are convinced that because if you had a media, if we were Democrats had the media on our side, would we not feel invincible? Would we not feel like we could lie about anything and have it amplified and reported? I think they do. And I think media compliance or media sophistry or media bias or whatever, I think it convinces them that they can get away with any misrepresentation, any agenda, any lie.